All right, everyone. I just want to give my quick initial reaction of finishing the second book in this month's reading, and that is The Body. So, real quick, the first one I finished was The Long Walk, and it was great. I really liked the story. It really gave you just a sprinkle of the gruesome horror that was going to be coming in Stephen King's writing. So I know that going forward, if someone says, "Hey, that is very gruesome," I'm gonna believe them because some of the details in this early book definitely gave me the impression that there's definitely some darker things to come in the universe of Stephen King. The only thing I didn't really like about this too much after I had more time to think on it was the actual character building. I understand, I liked the character of Barkovich just because I think everyone knows Barkovich who has been in maybe the military setting or high school sports. You just have that one individual that just wants to step on everyone else and it's not really shy to admit it. But outside of that, I like Scram, I like McFreeze, but I wasn't really tied to any of the characters. A character could die on mile, 78 or 114 or 12, and I really wouldn't feel anything other than, okay, well, who finishes first? What's going on? What happens at the very end? I didn't really feel too close to any characters. Baker, I understand, but I felt that the hype that you see everywhere as a non-Stephen King reader about the character building wasn't there, and I was kind of disappointed. That disappointment ends because in my read through of The Body, which is a very short read, was just fantastic. Oh my, I cannot. I read this maybe 2 days before Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a great one. And immediately I wanted to make a video, but you got to make those long drives on holiday. So I had to pack up everything and get out of town. But yeah, the character building, Gordy. I know a lot of people that can relate to him, especially from my childhood, of an individual who loses a sibling, and whether or not they were an unwanted child, they became an unwanted child. And, thankfully for him, he was able to persevere through the situation growing up and rely on his friends and, understood the situation that, hey, everyone's going to be looking at him like, why couldn't you be your brother? And and his parents, saying, hey, that Dewey Cox movie, the wrong son died that day, type of situation. But he was a very bright individual, and he didn't let that at least affect him to the point of being paralyzed in the situation and becoming a no one. So you had Chris, Vern, and Teddy. So Chris really reminded me of myself growing up. I didn't come from a bad family, but I came from a family that if I were to ever get friends or a girlfriend or whatnot, like I wouldn't take them home to meet my family. Where I lived and the reputation of my older siblings or whatnot was not the best. So it really connected with me because I felt like I was a pretty bright individual. My grades were fine. I had options coming out of high school that maybe were a surprise to other people, but you know I could understand Chris a little bit more than I could understand the other three, just because you're dealt a bad hand, and no matter how good you are, people are always going to look down on you because that random shuffle of the deck and the card that you drew as family or reputation of that family, or how well your parents are off or are not off. So I really I guess got close to Chris's character in that, just always doing the right thing, even at the very end. It proved to be a very unfortunate thing. So with Vern and Teddy, I feel like if you're growing up as a child, and I can't talk about growing up as a girl, but as a guy, you just have those friends that are Vern and Teddy. You know, with it being Teddy, where you're gonna just say some of the most ridiculous things. You're going to be steadfast and sticking up for your family, right or wrong. Maybe you're embarrassed of your family, but you admire them at the same time. Your upbringing was bad. Vern's upbringing was also bad. Actually, all four of them just had a very terrible upbringing. But I think growing up, and this is well before the times that I grew up, but I think even in the '90s, it was the same. Each child, I feel like that I was part of her friends with, had that trouble at home, whether it was the alcoholic parents, whether it was you know the irresponsible parents leaving you off with younger brothers that are still not of the age that they should be babysitting children, or simply just you know parents that didn't really care if you succeeded or failed in life. So I feel like it was very great. It was probably, other than Ender's Game to an extent, it was my first coming to age book, and it was really refreshing. I didn't really see the horror in it. I understand you had the shout out of Cujo, and it being my first Castle Rock book, and the Castle River, and you're basically learning the area, was very great. I'm not sure if it's the first book you read in that story or if Cujo's first. I have no idea, but I'll get the Cujo. Haven't read it or watched it. I just know of this saying, any rabid dog, a Cujo. So yeah, I really liked Castle Rock. I thought it was great. I thought the character building was just amazing. I felt like there was no loose ends. Now, obviously, with the characters themselves, the one loose end obviously is, was it a train? And I think that there was enough there that shows that no, that wasn't. And I'm not sure if there's other literature or parts of the book that I forgot that maybe illicitly explain that what actually happened. So yeah, I was very pleased with that. Very happy that it was one of the first three books I read during this monthly reviews. And then I'm about, like I said, I got maybe 20% left of this book. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm not sure if there's going to be anything that I read that is going to match this, but it is exceeding all the high expectations that people have been leaving for it. And, I'm seeing it on, MJ, Daniel Green, Mike's reviews. Like, Salem's Lot is so highly respected, and I'm definitely understanding why. So that is where I want to wrap it up. If I had to give the body a rating, A, B, C, D, E, or whatnot, it would definitely be higher than The Long Walk, which I didn't think would be the case. Going into this, I thought The Long Walk, after I read it, I was just like, okay, well, let me just, check through the body real quick. Ooh, 4 boys finding a dead body. Didn't seem too interesting to me, but I would say the body is definitely above The Long Walk. Because I'm so far into Salem's Lot, I can't say that the body would be, S tier or A tier or whatnot, but I would say it's also in the B tier, but, ahead of The Long Walk. Really enjoyed reading it. Well, thanks for watching the video, and I hope you have a great day.